yung una kong
You need you need to turn on your camera, ha?
ito po.
Okay, sige.
Ito po yung una kong topic, yung artists and their signature style po, a never-ending story. A signature style is what distinguishes an artist's work. It's what gives a Picasso his Picasso-ness and a Da Vinci his Da Vinci-ness. People evolve and grow every experiences, just as how every piece of art an artist creates causes their style to alter and grow. The wonderful aspect about finding a signature style is that it keeps changing over time, even after they've discovered it and it continues to develop. Yun po katulad po ng sabi dito, sir. Kasi po, kaya ho nilagay ko na doon sa title, A Never Ending Story, kasi kapag nahanap na ho ng isang artist yung signature style niya, hindi pa rin ho doon nagtatapos kasi patuloy pa rin na nagbabago hanggat natututo siya sa patuloy na pagdodraw niya po. If one will look carefully, anyone can tell if an artist hasn't discovered their own technique. When an artist switches from one subject to another, or when their pieces are placed together and seems more to be from multiple artists, they have not yet fully worked on their signature style. Kung makikita ho natin sa mga sikat na artist po, pag nakita po natin yung mga gawa nila sa ibang platform, alam na ho natin agad kung kanino yon gawa. Kasi ho, meron po silang mga signature style. Yung mga ano pa lang po, yung mga baguhan or yung mga hindi pa ho nakakahanap ng signature style nila, pag pinagdikit-dikit niyo ho yung mga gawa nila, parang gawa po ng iba't ibang artist kasi iba-iba po yung style na sinusubukan nila. It is, however, vital to remember that is an ongoing process that can and should continue to evolve throughout an artist's career. If they continue to make art, each change will take them to yet another challenge. A signature style or an art style is the product of learned tools, everything that an artist has observed over their career, an understanding of the art, a polished skill, a feeling of interest, the capacity to observe and follow the directions that their art gives them, and lastly, the repetition of making art over and over. Because when it comes to their artwork, an artist's style evolves and changes as they progress professionally. Yun po yung introduction. Then, problem statement. When looking at the most successful artists' artworks, observe that they all have one thing in common. They all have a specific style or outlook that they apply to their work. Whether you specialize in animation, painting, or concept art, you establish a name for yourself by doing something better than anyone else. Ito ho, hindi lang kasi siya sa, yung signature style, di lang siya maa-apply sa digital art or sa painting. Pwede rin siya sa animation, sa iba't ibang sa iba't ibang forms ng art. Due to the naturally curious aspect of such artistic mind, an artist is likely to be researching something that might not exactly match with what they generally do at any time in their journey. A lot of artists want to know what they'll be accomplishing right away. It happens to some artists, but for the majority of them, it takes years to figure out their signature style. Madami rin ho kasi akong parang nakikita, kunwari na lang ho sa mga classmates ko, na sila, parang gusto ko na magkaroon kami lahat ng art style kasi po, parang doon kami makikilala. Pero alam din ho namin sa sarili namin na kailangan, process po to na hanggang mga, hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan, pero maa-achieve din po namin someday. Yun ho. Tapos, the goal of this capstone project is to create a 2D animation that will motivate artists who are losing their patience in finding their own art style, as well as to comfort them, for they are not alone in this journey. In addition, this study aims to broaden young artists' knowledge about the beauty in having their own style. Mali po. Yun po. Gusto kong parang mabigyan ho, yung mga manonood po, gusto ko silang ma-motivate and mabigyan ng parang comfort na hindi lang ho sila yung naghahanap din ng art style, na madami rin ho nag-struggle na paghahanap nito. Tapos gusto ko rin hong i-inform yung mga bagong artist, yung mga young artist na meron hong something like art style na nangyayari din ho dito sa art nat sa mundo ng industry ng art. Ganun po. Tapos, objectives. The general objective of this project is to create an entertaining 2D animation that has a short but informative story that aims to educate and the audience about the different art styles and on how to have one. There are also some specific objectives that this capstone would like to achieve, and those are as stated below: to produce a 2D animation that will feature different art styles, and to provide a pleasing to the eyes short story. Yun ho, gusto ko sanang yung parang kapag kasi yung madami mong mga story na hindi ho sila masyadong pinapansin ng mga tao kahit na kagaano kaganda yung pag-deliver I mean yung yung story nila. Kaso dahil sa mga hindi siya gano'n ka-attractive, hindi siya gano'n ka nakukuha ng yung pleasing sa mata, parang hindi ho nila masyadong pinapanood. Kaya yun ho yung gusto ko ding ma-deliver. Yung maganda sa mata and yung ma-feature po yung different art styles na pwede nilang matry and possible na masubukan ng mga artists. And the target users of this project are artists in all ages, especially those who are lost in finding their own art style, as well as the artists who are too young to know that there are various art style that they can explore and practice. Yun ho, yung ka-target user, yung mga artist na yung sinabi ko kanina, yung mga bata pa, yung mga hindi pa alam yung na merong art styles din po. And yung meron din yung hindi ho sila nag-iisa, ganun po yung gusto kong maano. Tapos ito po yung project timeline. Ho yung brainstorming, tapos script writing, storyboarding, creating a mood board, character design, background design, parang same na lang ho sila. Kasi parang pwede naman pong i-divide yung task. Tapos yung voice over recording, pwede na hon i-start habang hindi pa tapos yung background. If mapapahaba po yung paggawa, tapos yung animation, detailing, sound and video editing, tas cleaning, and finish process po. Yun ho yung first topic, sir.
Okay. So, ang magiging ano mo lang dito, uh, are you going to cover, let's say for example, if this topic would be approved, are you going to cover all the art style dun sa produce to the animation mo?
If possible po siguro, gusto ko ring mapakita lahat. Pero hindi naman mako-cover lahat, sir, kasi ang dami hong art style na
Correct,
na
oo. So siguro, balik mo dun sa ano mo, sa problem statement mo. Ayan. So, okay naman yung problem statement mo, no? So, tama naman siya. Nga lang, pwedeng wala ka nang baguhin dito, pero on your ano, forward mo. Okay, on your goal, kasi ang nilagay mo dito is in addition, broaden. Okay, tama naman. Sige, forward pa, isa pa. Ayan. That would, siguro dito yun sa ano, to produce a 2D animation that will feature different art styles. Paano ba natin sasabihin na ano, you're not going to cover all the ano, the all the art style. Kasi dapat lumabas dito that siguro mamimili ka na lang ng different art styles na i-cover mo. So, dun yung
Opo.
ilalagay mo yung sa specific objectives mo. So, let's say for example, you're just going to cover dun sa ano mo na meron kang at least 3 different art style, no? So
Hmm.
this is to produce 2D animation that will feature three different art styles. O kaya, no? Mas madami. Okay? So
Something
at
specific.
least at least specified kung ilang art style yung i-cover mo, no? Okay.
Opo.
So yun lang naman yung comment ko dito in your documentation. Kasi ito naman are all ano pa, half baked pa lang, no? So ibig sabihin, this would be molded pa kapag ka itong topic na to yung ma-approve. Pero
Opo.
you have a good ano, you have a good proposal. Sige, let's move on. By the way, iti-take note mo lahat ng mga sinasabi ko kasi yung isasubmit niyo sa akin na PowerPoint presentation would be the-edited, no? So halimbawa, sinabi ko yung objectives should be different, no? So yun yung i-edit niyo, okay?
Ay, yung PowerPoint lang po yung sisend niyan, di ba?
Yeah, PowerPoint lang. Hindi niyo na kailangan i-present yung ano,
I-document.
yung topic. Okay, let's proceed
Okay
with your
po.
second topic.
Sa akong topic po is significance of anatomy in animation po. Ito po yung ginawa ko din ho last time na title proposal pero mas ano ko ay yung sa activity po. Throughout history, the body has served as a source of inspiration for science and the arts. Anatomy is the science of understanding living things' structural organization in which blood arteries, organs, the skeleton, and nerves are all covered in this section, or in simpler terms, the study of the body's structure. Anatomy is often divided into two parts. The gross anatomy, which is the study of body's macroscopic components, and the histology, also known as microanatomy, the study of the finer elements of cells and smaller body structures. Kumbaga ho dito sa para sa topic ko ho, yung ano lang dito, magagamit lang dito is yung gross anatomy kasi po yun yung parang nakikita natin sa naked eye. Kumbaga yung ito lang po yung mga skin, yung ano. Tapos yung histology po yun po yung ginagamitan pa ng microscopes. Tapos yung correspondingly, character in animation is formed in two parts din po. An exterior appearance used to draw the character or yung skin po, and a hierarchical established of interrelated components called bones or rig, a digital armature used to animate the mesh. This approach has been widely used to portray humans and other organic figures. It mainly serves to simplify the animation process. Tapos dito po, Conley emphasizes how animation allows you to bring ideas to life that would be extremely expensive or impossible to accomplish with live action. Animation is versatile and flexible. It's excellent for communicating concepts of all kinds to broad audiences, young and old. Want to show a guy swimming with sharks animated at a fraction of the cost and without the considerable risk and logistical challenges of using a film crew. Want to feature someone on a Vespa jumping across the Grand Canyon? Ay, just animate it. By studying and practicing anatomy, artists, especially animators, will be able to create a more realistic and less awkward proportions in their animation. Yun ho yung sana yung gusto kong yun din ho sana gusto kong ipakita na ano yung anatomy po mahalaga din siya sa pag-a-animate and sa art din sa pagdo-drawing kasi parang yun mas magiging realistic at saka less awkward yung proportion ng animation tas hindi siya pangit tignan. Ganun ho. Kasi parang lagi kong hindi napapansin ay napapansin ng mga tao na ang pangit ng galaw ng isang animation. Pero yung dahilan ho talaga doon is yung hindi pag-study ng anatomy. This problem statement, equipping a thing or character with an accurate physical representation is a part of creating plausible motion. To put it differently, things and characters in the reality have mass and other physical properties, which should be reflected in the animation to produce a plausible motion. Some of the fundamental animation principles deal with the creation of an object's or character's physical structure. The motion may appear abrupt or unnatural without the plausible motion that arises from the implementation of these principles. Having unnatural body proportions and movements can ruin your animation. Kasi yun talaga yung nakikita ng mga tao sa since kapag hindi natural tingnan, parang parang nakaka-off din po siya sa kasi kung makikita niyo parang sa animation parang ang pangit panoorin kapag hindi ho parang hindi makatotohanan yung nila, yung, ah, yung anatomy nila, yung pag-rig nila, gano'n ho. Tapos, proportion is the most important factor to consider in building a cartoon character. The artist should keep in mind the relative size of body parts because it's based on them will define the structural features of our character, sabi nga ho ni si Cabral. Observe and see how most aspiring animators and sometimes even the professionals have unbalanced body proportions in their creation. Most artists know and experience the hardship in making a body look accurate and realistic. Yun ho. If may study ho yung anatomy kasi isip ko, I mean, hindi lang isip ko, pero noticeable din naman ho na if may study yung anatomy, mas madali na lang ho yung paggawa ng animation, mas di-deliver ho ng maayos yung actions and movements. Even though studying anatomy may consume a lot of time, there will be a huge difference when practiced properly and fully understood. Drawing isn't easy, so does animation. It will take a lot of time, but it will surely be worth it. Next po is yung goal. This capstone project aims to provide a 2D animation that seeks to encourage artists and animators to study anatomy. Another essential point of this research is to broaden the audience's knowledge about the process of making an animation and how your arts will appear more authentic. In addition, creating this project will also broaden the researcher's knowledge about the topic. Communication skills as well as the problem-solving skills of each researcher will be challenged. Therefore, will mold the researchers into a better animator. Yun ho, gusto ko sanang mag-encourage, yung parang i-inform ko yung mga tao na and yung mga artists na hindi aware sa anatomy. Kasi recently lang din ho ako na aware sa importance ng anatomy talaga sa pag-draw and animation. Parang mas mapapadali ho talaga yung gawa if in-study ko muna yun. Kesa mag-predict ako kung saan yung mga proper, ay yung mga accurate, yung mga accurate body movements and ho, yun ganun po. Gusto ko mag-inform. Tapos dito naman, mababroaden din yung knowledge namin kasi ho, syempre masusubukan din ho namin na i-apply din ho namin yun sa art namin since yun ho yung i-deliver namin. Next is objectives. The general objective of this 2D animation is to increase the knowledge of the audience about how studying and practicing anatomy may benefit in animation, as well as other forms of art by creating a 2D animated short story that will illustrate the process of producing an animation. There are also some specific objectives that this capstone project would like to achieve, and those are as stated below. To produce a 2D animation that will inspire artists by its story to keep on enhancing their skills. Then, to illustrate the hardships in making an animation. Gusto ko kasi sana kung mapakita na hindi lang po yung progress ng paggawa ng animation, kundi paano rin po siya ina-apply dun sa pag-a-animate. Kung parang papakita ko na ini-study niya yung anatomy and paano niya ho ina-apply yun sa paggawa ng animation. Kaya mapapakita rin ho doon yung process ng pag-a-animate. Tapos, target users. The main point of this project is to educate and inspire artists, particularly animators, to learn anatomy in order to simplify the animation process. Creating a project that can educate and inspire a large number of people, on the other hand, is far superior. Instead of focusing solely on artists, this project's goal is to engage everyone age 12 and up. Tapos yung project timeline po, same lang. Yun po, sir.
Okay, so as I could observe based from your topic 1 and topic 2, these two topics focus on parang helping animators, no,
Apo.
in their struggle. Now, question. Correct naman kasi yung presentation and your documentation. Now, I have a question lang. What is your idea in what is your idea of the flow of the story? Would it be like kwento or would it
Apo.
be like parang parang ang mangyayari is you're just telling these are the principles of anatomy, or would it be parang kwento na si Juan na nahihirapan sa pagdo-drawing, ito yung ginawa niya. Tell me more
Gusto ko sana
information.
na
Oo.
ano, parang gusto ko sana ma-deliver po siya as parang short story po, gano'n. Na
Mhm.
maipakita din ho yung naghihirap din ho yung animator, tas yun at the same time po yung kung paano niya po ino-overcome yung ano yun, yung struggle niya sa pag-a-animate, gano'n po.
Okay. So siguro ang magiging ano mo if again 'no, if this topic would materialize, isasama mo dun sa animation mo yung halimbawa 'no, si Juan na character mo would study, anatomy. So, papakita mo dun ano yung mga pinuntahan niyang, references 'no, para matuto siya,
Hmm,
yung gano'n. Kasi
opo.
it would not be parang nagbasa lang siya tapos yun na yun
Opo.
'no. So, hindi gano'n 'no, kasi kung ang target mo is for them to study anatomy, it's like you are advertising a reference. Parang parang etong reference na 'to yung binasa ni Juan, and then with that,
Hmm,
when he studied the human anatomy, eto naging maayos yung drawing niya, something like that 'no. So, uh, again 'no, so if if this would fall, hindi siya infomercial, it would fall under short story, and parang ang mangyayari dito sa mga ano mo would be inspirational short story 'no, yung mga
opo.
gano'n 'no. So sige. Okay etong second topic mo or ano 'no, let's have a strong characteristics to materialize, oo 'no. So siguro pagka comes next semester, oo, try niyo rin i-consider 'to, maganda siyang topic,
Opo,
'no.
sige po.
Okey, let's go to your third one.
Ito po yung third is underappreciation of Filipino animation po. Introduction. Philippine animation has produced some fantastic animated films and television shows that are definitely worth watching. Filipino animations actually have a long and interesting history. Local animation is on the rising trend, with Adarna, the mythical bird, noong 1997, being the first full-length Filipino animated film and recent animated projects obtaining international sponsorship. Yung mga kaano po dito, katulad po nito is yung sumikat po recently na 13, may mga iba't ibang subtitles pa ho yun para and dubs para mapaano ho internationally. Then, as a matter of fact, a significant number of Filipinos work on animated films for Pixar and other huge corporations. Although the local animation industry is not as large as something like Japan's or the United States, the country has created a variety of locally produced animated films and television shows. Most of these are not only created in the Philippines, but they are also excellent representations of the Filipino culture. Sadly, it seems that the industry doesn't nearly receive enough exposure and support to prosper. Yun ho, gusto ko sana mapakita dito na yung mga iba't ibang Filipino animations. Kasi ho, yun nga ho, less ho yung exposure and support. Pero since ho nag-i-start na ho mag-rise yung 13, maganda ho yung nagawa nila dun sa paano nila in-advertise ho. Kaya ho sumikat ho talaga internationally. Tas meron din ho yung, isa pa na Hayop Hayop Ka Something ho kay Angelica Panganiban. Yun din ho, nag-i-start din ay sumikat din ho yun pero hindi siya gano'n masyadong, um, nabigyan ng matagal na exposure dito sa Pilipinas. Next problem statement. Understanding the requirements and motivations for animation involves an appreciation of both the artistic process of production and the business situations that determines how the industry operates. Many Filipino animators have now been breaking into the international animation industry and succeeding. Katulad ho ng 13 and yung kanina ho nabanggit. Unfortunately, only a few people are aware of the situation. Why? It's because many Filipino animators are outsourced, and as a result, they don't get full credit for their efforts. Obviously, budget is an issue to the animation industry's expansion. Having sufficient funding will be needed in order to complete an entire animated film which will showcase the Filipinos' international competitiveness. Yun ho, yung problema ho lang talaga kasi is yung budget. Kung paano nila, kaya hindi ho nabibigyan ng masyadong pagpaplano yung paano nila i-advertise and parang hindi ko kasi masyadong binibigyan ng pansin dito yung pag-a-animate. Katulad na lang po 'di ba naging pong meme yung mga yung mga effects dito sa Pinas kasi ho parang ah, hindi gano'n kaganda yung quality na nagagawa kasi yung budget ho, malaki din ho kasi yung parang niya, issue niya sa animation industry na kapag less budget ho, 'di ba parang hmm, yung mga magagamit mo lang ho na graphics is hindi gano'n kaganda. Tapos yun ho, dahil sa kakulangan din ho siguro ng pagsu-support ng mga kapwa Pinoy, hindi ho nabibigyan ng pansin. Kaya parang natatambakan na lang ho yung mga Filipino animations natin na kaya hindi rin ho sila masyadong kumikita. And yung goal po, the major goal of this capstone project is to support the Philippine animation industry by making a 2D animation that would promote several animated films produced by Filipinos and allow the audience to recognize the incredible people behind them. Given that Filipino animation is beginning to gain popularity, the goal of this project is to guarantee that animators in the Philippines receive the recognition and support that the country's animation companies deserve. Yun nga, minsan no, katulad ng sa 13, kilala lang ho natin yung alam lang ho natin yung yung palabas, pero hindi ho natin alam kung sino yung mga tao nasa likod nun. Parang gusto ko rin hong ma-recognize din ho sila, para mababanggit din ho sila dun sa sa magagawa ho naming capstone project. Tapos para ho mabigyan sila ng support, na recognition ng mga makakapanood dun po sa palabas na yan. Kasi po, kapag less ho na nakikita nila na hindi ho nila masyado nakikita yung process ng pag-animate, hindi ho na nila na-appreciate masyado yung pag-animate, parang hindi rin ho nila masyadong iniisip yung kung sino yung behind sa isang animation, ganun po. The objective of this capstone project is to develop a two-dimensional short story that provides information on the various animated films produced in the Philippines, as well as the creative minds behind them. There are also certain specific objectives that this capstone project hopes to accomplish, which are listed below. To create an animated short story that will capture people's attention, to produce a 2D animation that will entertain while providing information about underappreciated Filipino animation, and to illustrate the struggles in drawing and producing an animation. Yun ho, katulad ko na sinabi ko kanina. The less na na-appreciate nila yung process ng pag-a-animate ay the less na alam nila kung paano yung ginagawa yung isang animation, the less na na-appreciate ho nila yung animation. Kaya gusto ko sanang pakita ho yung struggles dun. Yung parang sa isa pong topic ko, papakita rin ho yung struggles. Tapos parang gusto ko din ho at the same time i-introduce yung mga iba't ibang Filipino animation. As target users, it is always preferable to have a large audience since this ensures that the short story entertained and informed a large number of people. Filipinos of all ages are the primary target audience for this animation. That's yung project timeline po, same lang. Yun po.
Okay. So, may napansin lang ako na parang medyo hindi nagbangga dito na balik mo dun sa ano mo, problem statement mo. Okay. So, as I understood, no, you are trying to solve, you are trying to parang make amends with how will Filipino be recognized as one of great animators, tama? Pero lumabas din dito sa problem statement mo is about funding. Okay?
Mm.
Okay. Now, question. With your animation ba, with your animation na ipoproduce, would those Filipino be funded?
Um, kasi po parang maggagawa po ako ng parang i-advertise ko din po yung mga ano nila, yung mga animation nila. Yung mga dating animation, yung mga ganun ho. Tapos,
Mhm.
if ever po na manotice nila ng maraming tao, ibig sabihin po, papanoorin din ho nila yung full ano ng mga animations na yun. Ibig sabihin, possible na magkaroon ho sila ng more budget kasi so madami hong mas naging aware dun sa ano nila, gawa nila.
Okay, so yung magiging flow ng story mo is ang focus niya is to give recognition and to get funding. Tama ba?
Opo.
Ganun siya. So
Para makatulong sa
it's not
mga
really yung parang ano no. Ano to? Paano yung flow ng story mo? May ganun ulit parang eto si Juan, gano'n naghahanap siya ng
opo, pero
gumagawa siya
if
ng ano, gano'n.
mabe-brainstorm pa ho namin na maiba ho yung pagkaka-deliver or ano,
Oo, kasi
tapos
medyo eto kasi, magfo-fall siya under ano 'to, parang there is an advertisement side 'no, nung
ano po,
gagawin niyo kasi you are parang you are trying to do advertising na etong company na 'to, they are doing nga lang, ang magiging ano mo dito is parang you're going to focus on something.
na
Masyado kasing malaki kapagka
opo,
halimbawa whole industry ng animation yung gusto mo. So, most probably maghahanap ka dito ng isang possible na maliit na company that you want to help na eto yung ginagawa nila. Eto yung
hmm,
ginagawa namin ever since let's say 2000. Since year 2000, eto na yung ginagawa namin. And these are my outputs. These are our outputs. Nga lang, parang papakita mo nun na because of limited budget, no? Okay, yung
ah,
gano'n. Tapos
na okay.
with enough budget, we can do more like this, parang gano'n. Gano'n yung magiging flow niyan. With that particular uh with that particular output, masasagot mo 'tong problem statement mo.
Hmm,
Okay, so
opo,
siguro eto, baguhin mo na lang 'no. So, ah, ay hindi, okey na 'to. Sige, dun sa ano, goal, patingin ako, balikan natin.
ito po.
Mhm. That the country's animation companies deserve. Kailangan maging ano ka rin dito in your siguro dito baguhin mo lang 'to, etong part ng goal. Ah, what do you think would be yung parang, support na tinutukoy mo dito would it be yung Philippine government or would it be private?
Hmm,
No, kasi ano, countries animation companies deserve. So, pagka kasi nabasa 'to, parang Philippines should support, parang the government would support or subsidize something on the animation company. So, tignan mo na lang 'no, kung
na
kung what would be kasi parang depende pa rin 'yan dun sa ano mo, eh, sa target mong production. Sige patingin ako ng isa pa, forward one. Ayan, so to illustrate struggles in drawing using animations. Okey. So siguro ito ang ilagay mo dito, ah, ah, to illustrate struggles in drawing. So hindi na kasi drawing yung focus mo dito, eh. So tanggalin mo
Hmm,
na 'yon, 'no?
nga po.
Okay, so siguro ang pwede mong ilagay dito are the parang key factors in producing substandard animation, parang gano'n, 'no? So parang ina-identify mo, okay, yung ano, yung, ah,
Ah,
what are the different factors in 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 creating parang low quality animations, okay.
okay. Okay.
So yun. So this is a good topic pa rin kasi there might be a probability na this would benefit an
Hmm,
animation company. Pero ang magiging problem mo lang dito is, yung paghahanap mo ng beneficiary. So yun. So puwede ka naman
opo.
sigurong gumawa ng, ah, let's say a department lang, parang isang department lang na tutulungan mo na it's an advertising department. Not necessarily naman na ano, eh, na talagang company kasi malalaki sila. Okey, yung gano'n.
Opo.
Okey, so all 3 topics are good, 'no? Ah, let's see whether it would materialize on the second semester pero, of all the topics I like most is yung number 2, 'no?
Yung
So,
ano
it has a good substance, okey?
okay po.
So, that ends your presentation. Any question on your end? Meron ka bang
Ah,
question, clarification?
wala naman po.
Wala na, okey.
Okay na.
So, yung mga ninote ko, i-edit niyo yun and then after I uploaded the link wherein you're going to upload, you're just going to upload the PowerPoint presentation for archive purposes. Okay, so thank you for
Okay po.
presenting and then I'll go with
Okay
the
po.
next group. Okay.
Sige po. Thank you po, sir.
Okay. Okay, turn on your camera, start sharing your screen, then you may start.
Ah, yes, sir.
Go ahead,
Ah,
start.
bali sir, ito po yung tatlong topics na napili ko sa research. So, yung time differential sa animation. So, yung pong 11 minutes at saka versus 22 minutes. So, yung cons po sa 11 minutes, wala pong masyadong major plot. Yung story po masyado pong rush. Tsaka wala pong masyadong attachment sa mga characters na na nasa kwento. Yung pros naman po sir, yung sa 11 minutes, mabilis naman po yung mag-animate dahil 11 minutes lang po naman. Marami po yung pwedeng produce in a limited time. Tsaka pwede pong mag-diverse sa mga kwento. Ito po yung mga example, mga 11 minutes uh, cartoon. So, majority sir, Cartoon Network kasi yung Cartoon Network ngayon nag-a-adapt na sila mga 11 minutes kaysa yung dati na 22 minutes. Yung reason po sir dahil mas parang na ano po sila, mas na marami silang ma-produce in that time at saka marami po silang pwedeng ma-improvise sa mga kwento, hindi po sila magsi-stick ng isang major plot story. So, yung 22 minutes naman po, ah kung yung cons naman po sa 22 minutes, mas bata, mas impatient po sila sa sa pagmanonood sir. Dahil kung mas bata po yung mga manonood, parang maiinip po sila sa pacing ng kwento dahil minsan po mabagal, kahit na minsan kailangan po mabagal yung pacing para makuha talaga yung development ng story, character, tsaka world building. Mabagal po yung process. Yung build up po sir, medyo depende po yun kasi mga parang do, ah, dual-bladed sword po siya na pwede siyang pumalpak, pwede po siyang maging successful. Tapos yung pros po sir, maganda po yung pagkaka-develop no ng plot dahil may connection ka na sa character development at saka yung world building po sir, yung example sir, yung Star Wars, yung universe po nila dahil sa sobrang laki nila sir, kailangan nilang maraming episodes or mas mahabang episodes para lang ma-develop yung mundo nila. So, character development, sir, dahil mas maraming time na makikilala din natin yung character na nagawa ng animators. So, mas ma-attach po yung mga ibang manunood sa characters nila. Yung potential to be iconic, sir, as katulad po ng mga to, yung pinaka-iconic sa mga cartoons na 22 minutes, Ben 10, SpongeBob, Very Odd, at yung iba pa sir dahil sila yung sinuuna noon mga 2000s, early 2000s. Sila po yung naging sumikat dahil magaganda yung plot, magaganda yung story, tsaka mas marami silang na develop sa mga characters nila. Then yun po yung problem po, yung problem statement ko naman po yung battle between 11 or 22 minutes. Typo lang po sir. So, yung pong example ko pwedeng maano dito sir, yung Rick and Morty, dapat po sabi, pwedeng kukunin po ng isang studio yon, pero dapat 11 minutes lang. Pero po yung creator po, tumanggi siya na 22 yung pwede niya lang ibigay sa studio. Dahil mas maganda po yung 22 minutes sa Rick and Morty dahil yung world building po nila, yung mga character development nila, malalaki po kaya kailangan po nila mas matagal na time. So, yun yung medyo problem sir ngayon, yung kung papasok ka man sa studio, dapat magpipili ka ng 11 minutes or 22 minutes. Ah, yung goal ko po sir ngayon na gusto ko po ma-identify yung tamang tamang option pag gagawa kong kwento or animation. At kailangan ko rin po ma-understand kung ano mas magandang, kung gagawa man akong kwento, ano ba yung mas maganda, sa 11 minutes ba or 22 minutes. Tapos yung objective po sir, gagawa po akong dalawang story, isa pong 11 minutes at saka isa pong 22 minutes. Same story pero po yung 11 minutes yung 11 minutes, isisiksik ko na po lahat ng kwento sa 11 minutes. Samantalang sa 22 minutes, parang may part 2 pa dapat siya. Parang mabibitin po sa huli para may time pa din po ma-develop. Ngayon po yung target user ko po ay young teens to 15 to 18 years old, teenager 18 to 22 years old, tsaka young adults na 22 and above. Ngayon po yung topic 2 ko po sir, own story versus media story. Sa own story po sir, mas marami ka pang control. Dahil sa iyo po story, wala ka pong pwede pag-i-base dahil freedom na po ng animator slash creator sa paggawa ng kwento. Risky naman po dahil hindi po pa siya masyadong kilala. Example po dun sa mga comics, sa mga libro, yung sila kilala, well-known na sila dahil nauna sila na-publish sa books, tas napansin na sila ng mga ibang tao sa mga book readers. So kung agad-agad lang po babagsak sa animation yung kwento, parang risky po yun dahil unknown po kasi sa ibang tao yun. Sa yung pangatlo po sir, wala pong limit dahil own story po siya, kaya pwede mong palawakan or i-limit yung kwento mo. Sa media base po, less control dahil kailangan mo pong sumunod dun sa sa ah, sa comics or book. Safe po dahil well-known na po siya sa buong others. Example, sa Marvel, Spider-Man, Hulk, well-known na po sila. Yung kwento po rin, well-known. Yung paano na lang po i-deliver na lang doon yung madi-difference niyan. Buying, ngayon po, kapag media-based, kailangan mo munang hingi ng permission doon sa libro. For example, yung sa Harry Potter, hingi ka muna pong permission kay J.K. Rowling po ata yun or kung sino man po yung author, kung pwede po namin gamitin yung characters nila at saka yung kwento po nila. So, may price po yun, kaya medyo parang ano po, may budgets lang kailangan malaking gastusan dito pag media base. Ngayon, problem statement po, yung own story, kung gagawa po ko yung own story or base sa media, ngayon po kasi yung problema, majority remakes, reboots, kaya mas kilala po sila, mas sisikat, kumpara sa mga movies na or animation na na-release lang po this year na bago lang po sa mga tao. Well, unknown po sila, so may chance na po hindi gaano kikita or magiging palpak yung project. Yung goal ko po to start from scratch and make it iconic and memorable. So parang gagawa pong kwento na iconic na parang kakalabanin ko rin po yung sa media. For example, sir, si Spider-Man or yung mga Harry Potter versus yung own story ko po. So parang ikakalabanin ko po yung mga media versus yung own story ko. Ito po yung objective ko po. Creating one story that's is equally memorable to the media-based story. As I said na gagawa akong kwento na mas memorable po din siya katulad sa mga books. So, kung sa books, nag-start sila sa book, pas aging animation or movie, ako naman po, diretso na po animation. Titingnan ko po kung paano po anong mangyayari po doon. Ito po yung target user, mga comics and manga readers, teenager 18 to 22 and young adults 22 and above. At yung last topic ko po sir ay tight budget. Yung mga budget po natin, yung equipment, kung wala pong equipment, medyo mabagal yung process. Pas kung kulang din yung equipment, mababa yung quality. Production nun, mas low, mas expensive yung mga drawing tab, microphone, at iba pa. And gusto ko rin po ngayon yung kahit low budget man yung amin, sir, gusto ko po mapuntahan sa high quality. Eto po, tight budget equals to low quality and missing equipment. So kung tight yung budget mo, mababa yung quality, ah, mabagal yung process katulad po ng sinabi ko kanina. At yung parang ano po sir, parang may limit ka nun sir kung paano mo yung magagawa yung animation mo. Kasi iisipin mo muna yung gamit bago mo simulan yung pag-a-animate mo. Yung goal ko po as low budget into a high quality. So kahit low budget man po yung amin, maganda pa rin yung outcome sa huli. Kahit po walang drawing tablet, maganda pa rin yung character. Wala pong mic, maganda pa rin yung mic quality. Creating an animation with limited budget and limited equipment, but the quality is better than expected. So, yun po sir yung objective ko. Then the target user, mga EMC students dahil since magsa-start po sila, wala po silang equipment, mahigpit po yung budget, kaya mas maganda ipapakita ko po sa kanila na kahit mababa man yung budget mo or mahigpit yung budget, wala kang equipment, may konting equipment pero hindi gaano kaganda, maganda pa rin yung kalabasan ng animation. And teenager above 18 to 23 years old, young adults 22 and above. And yung grant chart ko po, eto po yun. So, inisa ko na lang po yung grant chart dahil halos same lang po naman sila, mag-a-animate lang naman po ako. So, sa first 2 week of January, i-research muna namin po sir kung alin yung topic. Then, the 3 weeks nun, screenwriting, storyboard is 2 weeks from February. Layouting is 3 weeks. Voice record, SFX, Foley, music production, uh, end of March, end of February, tsaka mid to March. Character design, okay lang po kung medyo tagalan dahil sila nga po yung main focus ng mga watchers nun. At background design, tinagalan ko po dahil mas maganda ko sir kung mas maraming time, mas maganda rin yung makikita sa background ng mga character. At simula May hanggang October sir, mag-a-animate na lang po nun. Para hindi po para mas maraming time, maraming magaganda yung kalabasan. At habang nasa October na sir, kung natapos na ako bandang September, kung mga October sir, ano na lang sir, cleaning. Sasabay ko po sa habang nag-animate para kung may mali-mali pa naman sir, pwede ko pa i-correct sir. So ayun, cleaning hanggang December, rendering din sir para makita ko yung output. So cleaning, rendering, end of November hanggang December po sir.
Okay. So, your topics are ano, parang mga comparison topics yung mga present mo sa akin eh, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, ang comment ko dito is, you are going to repeat lahat ng PowerPoint presentation na binibigay mo sa akin as of the moment. Okay, this is not yung parang proper format on how are you going to present it in in uh, a title proposal basis, no? So
Yes, sir.
hindi siya ganito. I would suggest that you go and stride from based from the previous presenters, and then you will know how did they write the introduction. Actually okay naman yung mga topics mo, but the mere problem is it is the lacking of support of the study. 'Di ba kanina may mga sinasabi ka about what which is which, mga ganon.
Yes, sir.
For those three topics you always said, you're going to provide this, you're going to provide this because you want to parang you uh, help them in how are they going to do this, but the problem is asan yung study. Kagaya nun may mga pinakita kang titles ng movies, titles ng mga animation. Now where did you get that? Okay, kailangan isasama mo yon na based from ganito, these are the lists of animation that is ganyan. Okay? So kasama 'yon. Okay? So comments and suggestions would be edited no dito sa PowerPoint mo. Pero hindi mo na siya kailangan i-present later on ulit, no? So
Yes.
ibig sabihin, ang kailangan mong gawin is just to change the PowerPoint presentation mo into a title proposal format. Okay? For both three topics 'yon.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And then another thing is you have to focus, no? You have to focus what particular dun sa goal mo kasi you are going to say dapat bigyan mo ako ng isang goal diyan. Ano mo sa isang goal. Ayan, yung mga 'yan gawin mo lang siyang narrative para 'di ba? Para mas
Sige, sir.
maayos siyang makita. These are specific. Okay? These are specific goals, no? Okay. So yung goal mo dito is let's say parang to produce a 2D animation that would ganyan. Okay? That yung sasagot dun sa statement of the problem mo.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So ganun siya. No? So yung goal mo dito is yung answer dun sa statement of the problem mo. Now yung specific objectives mo is etong mga to. Okay? To identify the correct option to use, to understand which is better with or without a story.
Yes, sir.
Nagigets mo yung flow nung
Yes, sir.
nung sinasabi ko, okay. So ganun siya. Now, with your regards of your Gantt chart, wala akong comment, tama siya. Okay? What I'm trying to say this in here is that dapat pagka tinignan ko yung documentation mo, I could already get the explanation and the ano and the basis from that actual data. Now, yung sinasabi mo, actually maganda yung topics mo. Ang problema lang is yung lacking of supporting information about saan mo kinuha yung mga sinasabi mo. What are your bases? Saan sila galing? So, yun lang yung hinahanap ko dito. Okay? Pero all of your topics are good.
Yes, sir.
Now, balik ka nga doon sa third topic mo.
Mm.
Ayan, tight budget. Statement of the problem. Patikin. Okay. Now, ang question ko dito, is your goal, no? Ah, medyo ito lang ang magiging problema mo. Pagka kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito is financial problem statement. Is your animation would answer financial incapacity ng mga EMC students?
Ah, ano po, sir?
Let's say sinasabi mo dito, tight budget equals low quality and missing equipment. This is your problem. This is your problem. Now, kapag ka ba gumawa ka ng animation, would this solve the statement of the problem?
Ah, depende po rin sa kalabasan, sir.
Now, I want you to see this in this side, no? Yung pagka-create mo ng statement of the problem is siguro i-rephrase mo to, no? Into uh, tight budget equals low quality and ano, parang ganito, low quality tight budget equals low quality. Ano ibig mo sabihin dito? Ito, tight budget equals low quality.
Ano, sir, 'pag mababa yung budget, sir, kalabasan po nun, sir, low quality yung animation dahil ano, sir,
Ba't mayroon
kulang gamit.
Ah, oo. Kasi nakalagay dito tight budget equals low quality and missing equipment. So
Ah,
siguro ang ilagay mo dito, medyo nalito ako kasi doon. So
Rephrase natin,
parang
sir.
oo, let's say tight budget and uh missing equipment is equivalent to low quality.
Quality, sir.
Oo, yung gano'n, 'no? Kasi ito medyo parang nakakalito siya,
Sige po, sir.
okey? So yun, so far yun lang naman yung nakita ko, and you have to, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko, you have to, uh, redo the whole PowerPoint presentation.
Yes,
Tignan
sir.
mo, scroll mo dun yung ano, yung mga na-upload ko ng mga video presentation ng ibang classmates mo, and you'll see kung paano nila ginawa yung ano. Actually, correct naman. Your explanation is correct, but I need to see the proof kung saan mo sila kinuha, no?
Sige po, sir.
Kung saan mo sila kinote and quote. So, yun lang, no? So,
Yes, sir.
uh, you, if I were going to choose what would be the topic, the parang malakas na topic mo, the topic number one is good, no? As long as you support it with enough evidences that that particular, kaso ang problema mo doon, yung output mo, medyo, ang parang nakita ko doon na sinasabi mo is you're going to produce 11 and 20 plus minutes.
Yes, sir.
So, mahirap yon. Hindi nyo ma-achieve yun in 1 year. Trust me, mahirap siya. Yung ngayon nga mga nagka-capstone, nakikiusap pa sila ng 13 minutes, 15 minutes lang. What more kung halimbawa 6 lang kayo tapos you're going to produce 11 tapos 20 plus minutes na magkaiba. So, hindi, no? So, instead of doing so, you try to rephrase kung ano yung goal mo. But 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 most probably it's not you're going to create two animations at the same time. Mahirap 'yan.
Sige po, sir.
Okay? Take note on that.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Question on your end?
None, sir.
Okay, so sige. Okay na tayo. Okay, congratulations. And then we'll
Thank you,
move
sir.
on with your ano, with your, by the way, yung link na iaano ko, hindi ko pa siya ina-up, pero kapag ka in-up ko siya, yung mga edited PowerPoint presentation nyo is doon yung isa-submit. But then you're not going to represent it anymore. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you, Murphy.
Thank you, sir.